focused, and passionate in their respective fields. They both, through their individual personalities, has laid down the foundation of law school as well as at the university level. I feel deeply honored standing here hosting today, as well as very privileged to welcome you both here. It's been so many years. I still remember my first lecture with you people. Your faces are still so fresh. I would never want to miss an opportunity to learn or talk to you both. With this, it gives me immense pleasure to welcome the two most passionate women who are perfectly balanced their extracurriculars and academics through their journey. They are the gurus of creativity, talent, and fearlessness. Miss Vennela graduated from 3-year LLB Honors course, School of Law. Vennela has achieved a dream placement at Khaitan Co. It is one of the leading law firms in our country, and she is working currently as a corporate lawyer. She has some major publications on her name and performed brilliantly in academics. And we have Miss Apoorva, graduated from 5-year BBA LLB Honors and integrated course School of Law. Apoorva has served as the president of the Student Council, with perfectly balancing her extracurriculars along with academics in our university. She is currently working as an executive manager in the Legal Design Media and Insights, which is one of the most trusted source to provide latest legal updates across the globe. Without any further delay, let's begin this episode with them. Over to you, Ms. Apoorva. How do you feel to be back at BU through this virtual mode?
Hi, Shivani, and hi, Vennela. First of all, thank you so much, Shivani, for this delightful introduction. I mean, itni tareef ek baar mein aise, that's amazing. So, to answer your question, virtually to be back has been good. I would say that if we would have been doing this in person, defying the COVID rules and everything, it would have been more fun. But it is amazing to sit over here and talk about college and everything with you and with Vennela. I mean, we have had all sorts of memories and we have done everything from every perspective as a holistic development in college life. So this is amazing. Thank you.
That's amazing. Hopefully, we should come with an offline episode soon. Over to you, Ms. Vennela.
Hi, Shivani. Hi, Apoorva. Firstly, Shivani, that was a great intro. I mean, it was really, really nice of you. Very thoughtful of you. I was like, who is she talking about? About us? But thank you. It feels so good to be back. I mean, this is kind of like taking me back to those days when we had to like switch on our cameras for Viva, for presentations, all of that. And it's really rekindling a memories at BU. I wish this was an offline session where we could just walk into college, that huge classroom that we used to call an auditorium. Yeah, I wish that happened. I'm sure that'll happen very soon.
100% agreed. Very soon. So, Ms. Apoorva, how would you describe your journey from the first year to your final year? And can you tell us, how much have you evolved or changed as a person from first year or till you step into the world as working professional? Yes, you may answer.
That's a very interesting question, Shivani. So when I entered college, I remember I was 17 years old and I had just shifted from Ahmedabad, Gujarat. So the entire environment of Noida, Delhi NCR as such was very new. And these were this kind of a culture was only seen in movies and heard about. So the transition in from Ahmedabad to Noida was a little difficult to capture the essence of Delhi NCR per se. But overall, it was very interesting. I mean, I started college when I was 17. And I remember in the first year only, we had dance competitions. We went to BHU, that is Banaras Hindu University, in their fest. And we went to NLU Jodhpur for another fest. I mean, from university level as well as the law school level. And, the best part of being the founding batch of law school and the second batch overall of university was that the entire foundation of law school was set by us. like the traditions we set and the culture we wanted to set, and we'll have this kind of fest, and this is the tuning we'll have with the professors and everything. So it was all done by us, and that was like a really proud moment. I mean, I remember that student bar association, this is an association in School of Law wherein you have committees and conveners and everything. And I remember sitting with Jacob sir and Bhumika ma'am, the professors, in the first professors in law school, and we used to sit with them and write the bylaws of the student bar association. It was like that, and it was so amazing, like the evolution that you asked. It was like from being a child, a 17-year-old kid who was living with her parents throughout her life, and suddenly moving into a hostel that I always wanted to do, and sitting with the professors and writing bylaws and discussing that how the next batch should address us, and how the next batch will have their timetables, and what are the subjects that we need to add in electives and etc. It was a beautiful journey. And today when I step out of the world, out of the college in the world, it's like I feel like, yeah, I am prepared, because Bennett has given that sort of a background to us wherein you can just walk up for any competition, you can go to an unknown place and just perform in anything. So it was amazing.
That's really amazing. Over to you, Miss Vennela.
So I'm glad that Apoorva had so many memories, but as far as I remember, when I first entered Bennett, I was like, wow, what is this place? And because it's very overwhelming when you first enter, especially the law library and the buildings and all the students talking about such different things. I was confused. I was like, am I in the right place? But I didn't know that all that was done by you, Apoorva. You were responsible for the trauma that we had to go through. The course curriculum. I had no idea that.
I'm so sorry.
But unfortunately, we had very little memories because in the first year, I was there for the first semester, and then in the second semester, COVID hit. And the first year was over in the first wave, second year, second wave, third year, third wave. So very little memories, but we made a lot of memories when we switched to online as well. And most of the memories were with Apoorva's batch. So yeah, I have no regrets, but yeah, we couldn't participate in a lot of mood competitions and we couldn't attend a lot of sessions. All of that, that's the only regret I have. Other than that, Bennett has been great. Like, we used to have so much fun. And yeah.
That's amazing. I mean, it's lovely to hear all of it from both of you, and we are living right now. I'm glad. And all right. So, Vennela, how about you? Like, you are from 3-year LLB honors batch,
Yeah.
and you recently stepped into the world of corporate. So, how do you think? Like, what is the evolution? What is the difference? How is it for you to start all of it?
See, I still remember the day when I started my law course. I was very confused. And I remember this one incident. I'd like to share it with you. We had this moot memorial, and there was this particular case, civil case. So it was Jacob sir who was taking our moot practicals. Look at that smile on Shivani's face. So I started talking and I was just saying random sections, criminal section, IPC sections. So he was like, Vennela, this is not a criminal case. I didn't know what to say. I was like, so I didn't find any sections from CPC. So after that, I just broke down. I was like, I'll never be a lawyer. I can't do this because everybody else is doing so well. So I really believe that you evolve as a person in when you're in law school. Like, you just don't, it doesn't happen in a day. So I think you'll have to give it some time. And I evolved a lot in BU. Coming to corporate law, I developed this interest when we had company law course. So before that, I just wanted to become a criminal lawyer. I was like, criminal litigation and all of that. But company law really fascinated me. And when I did my internship in J Sagar, that's when I decided I have to become a corporate lawyer. And after that, I didn't look back.
That's great. I mean, that's really, really inspiring. Okay, Miss Vennela, I'm sure that achieving Khaitan wasn't easy. Your hard work definitely paid off. Like,
Yeah.
would you like to tell us about your Khaitan journey? Like, be it interview round, be it that nervousness, be it all of it.
So before Khaitan, I'd interviewed with Trilegal, and it was very it was a very traumatic interview. So I was like, I still remember I had Khaitan's interview on Thursday. I still remember that. 3 days, I just locked myself in the room and I read everything: company law, income tax, and mergers and acquisitions, all recent updates, case laws, everything. I started watching these mock interviews. But once the interview started, I realized that it's just practical knowledge that you're supposed to know. Like, they put me in different scenarios, asked me what I do in such scenarios, just basic questions. They tested my confidence levels and all of that. So it was very difficult. It hardly lasted for like 20 minutes, but the questions were just like shooting. And there was a lot of personality testing also that was done. So I was kind of prepared for that personality thing. So because we all keep practicing that, right? So that was there. But then the technical round, it was an eye opener for me, because everybody believes that you have to be like, you should know all the sections, but that's not true. At least I can say this from my experience. You have to know the concepts very well. They'll ask you questions on what would you do in this scenario. For that, just book knowledge is not sufficient. The knowledge that you acquire through your internships and through your moot memorials, all that's very important. My journey at Khaitan has been wonderful. Like, imagine someone who just stepped out of law school is being given like mergers and acquisitions. I was clueless at first, but then it really gives you that kick when you get to work on such cases, and then when you get to work, when you get to walk through the corridors, and it's these suit scene that happens every day. So yeah, it's good.
Okay, so like suits really played a role here.
Yeah, it actually did. I never thought that would ever come into reality. I thought it's just pure fiction. ऐसा तो नहीं होता है. But the stress is real. Whatever they show you in suits, the stress is real. The sleepless nights and all. Yeah.
For everyone, Suits is a legal fiction. It's a legal series. It's based on the law background, and it's amazing. Everyone should give it a chance. So, Miss Apoorva, being an executive manager at Legal Desire sounds amazing. And you have always been a woman with an attitude of love what you do and do what you love. Would you like to tell us about your journey of Legal Desire?
Okay, so I was in my first year, maybe around September, October, and we were all preparing for semester, and we were all thinking about internships. So that was the time when everything was so new, and all the professors were telling you that these are the kind of things that you can do. And December and summer vacations is a time when you should intern. I mean, one internship is compulsory, but other than that, also you should intern and look at the courses and everything. So it was like that new zeal that you have entered college and kuch karke dikhana hai kind of a thing, like you have to be on your toes, that kind of a zeal. So I applied for 2 3 places, and my agenda since the very beginning, before I entered law school, I was very clear that whichever college I go to, I want to explore. It's not like I'm getting stuck on a litigation practice, or corporate law is very lucrative, and you think about it a lot, and you hear about it a lot. But my agenda was always कि I want to explore every field, whatever it is. And only one thing, that I'm going to stray away from numbers. So mergers and acquisitions kind of stuff, I was like, no, this is not my zone. So I'm going to stay away from it, and financial management and stuff. So I applied for LexisNexis and Legal Desire. These were the two companies that I applied. Both of them had the internship for legal writing, legal communication, things like that, wherein you write content which is law related, which has a legal background to it. So LexisNexis, I gave the interview, but I guess I was not very confident, or it did not just fit well for me, so I did not get that. And I'm thankful that I did not get that. And then I stumbled upon Legal Desire. I met with my boss, Mr. Anuj, and we started working together. At that point of time, I was just an intern, And but there was something about this company and the environment of this company and the kind of trust building situations that were there. I was there with Legal Desire wherever I could. So every event that Legal Desire had, I used to volunteer. And any kind of work that was pending, I used to be hands on. Yeah, that this is something that I can do. This is how I started working with Legal Desire. At that point of time, it was just one internship per year. And then I did this in December, and then I worked with Times of India in the by the end of first year of college. I worked with Times of India, and that was also fun. But then I was like, we have 2 months of summer break, right? And you are necessary to do one internship of 1 month. That is a compulsion. So I did Times of India as per for the college records. And then I had 1 month free. I was like, I'm not gonna sit idle. That's boring. So I started working with Legal Desire again, and this is how it kept on happening. Okay, in the first year, and then second year, the same thing. Second year, I worked with two other companies as well in the 2 months, and then I was working part time with Legal Desire. So it all kept on happening, and it just fit well. It was like I was writing, I had responsibilities. By the end of second year, I had a team of 5 interns with me, and since I was there from the beginning, so I had to manage them. And then we started with another venture of we started thinking about another venture called Fashion Law Journal, wherein we try to bridge the gap between fashion industry and legal industry. And I think in my fourth year in during COVID, I was like, "Okay, this is it, this is what I want to do, this is where I want to be." And the environment of the office is amazing, the culture is amazing, and the kind of work they give you, the kind of trust my boss has in me is what made me stay here. Has what it is something that lets me call this as my company too. So this has been the journey, and not easy, of course, not at all easy. And you know how law school gets, the college thing and the internships and everything, it gets a lot to work on. But I think when I became the executive assistant 3 years back, after interning for 2 years with them, I became the executive assistant. That's when I thought that this is a place where I can get growth, and I have the freedom to build something of my own. So when we started Fashion Law Journal, and when we did all of that, it was like, yeah, this is my space and I can build it the way I want. Exactly the way I was doing in law school for different committees. And when I became the president, it was that kick that, this is my space and I can build it the way I want to. And then I started my podcast series with lawyers and judges and everyone. So it is cool. I would say this is like a job which seems like, oh, this is so cool, I want to do that. It became that for me.
You had a very dynamic journey. Like you had
I did.
different types of work. Again, related to the legal field, you got a lot to experiment. You got a lot to explore.
This was always a fight in college for me. I mean, I hope I'm not cutting on the time by giving my story.
No,
That's
not
fine.
at all.
Okay, so this has been always a fight. So what I do in Legal Desire is mostly management and marketing from a legal perspective. Okay, so for the people who are in core law, they would not call this as a legal internship or as something which is pure law. And when you are giving your reports for internship in any law college, it is supposed to be a law internship. It is supposed to be a legal internship. So every year, this used to be a fight for me. For the first 2 years, I was like, fine, I'll give you a report which has a legal angle to it. So I used to find picks and bits, I would pick things tasks wherein it was pure law and just write down that. But by the end of second year, I was like, yeah, this is not done. Yeah, this is something that I want to do. It is my internship and I will fight for it. I cannot keep giving you legal internships just because you want to score it that way. And every year it used to be a fight with the panel. It used to be a fight with the professors who were scoring your internship reports. And I used to sit there trying to convince them that this is something I want to do. I am in law school, I am in a legal company. How does it matter what is the work that I am doing? It is a legal company, that should be enough for you. And there was this one incident wherein one professor was there in the panel, and I was not so good, not very good with her. I mean, the terms were not very good. She did not like me for multiple reasons. I did not like her for multiple reasons. And she was taking my viva for internship. And the moment I got to know that she's on my panel, I was like, I'm screwed. I'm done. I mean, if she's there, so it is impossible for me to get anything above B. It was like that. And she outrightly, she rejected my internship report. She's like, Apoorva, this is not a legal internship. I'm not going to score this. I was so furious. I was so furious. I legit, I mean, I regret doing that, but I legit shouted. And then I walked out of the room crying. I was like, this is not fair. And then I went to another professor who was the head of internship committee. And I was like, ma'am, this is not done. I want a reviva. I want another panel. Thankfully, it did happen and they agreed to me for whatever reasons. But yeah, that was a mess.
Unexpected times. I'm pretty sure that legal marketing is something we all should start acknowledging because it's taking a very good turnover around the world. So you both come from a very dynamic, different fields. Like Vennela, you have an expertise in mergers and acquisition, and whereas you, Apoorva, we can say that you have an expertise in fashion law. So could you both reflect about these two laws and what is the scope of the same? Like, over to you, Miss Vennela.
So before talking about that, I'd like to mention something. I started my journey with legal design too. So that was my first internship, and that's the best place I've interned at. I still keep getting goodies from legal desire. So be it Apoorva or be it Anuj, they're like amazing people. The place is very nice. It's a very positive environment and it helps you grow. So yeah, legal design is very close to my heart. And I really want to know who that professor is, Apoorva. We're not going forward.
Theater. Not on a public platform.
Because I faced the same thing, so I can relate. That happens in BU a lot. We should be mindful of the fact that we are yet to get our certificates. So I'll quickly jump to that. I'll quickly jump to the point that you asked me to mention about mergers and acquisitions. See, it's corporate law is a very wide area of law, but mergers and acquisitions is like you won't get to do a lot of mergers and acquisitions while you're doing your internship. So you have to gain a lot of knowledge through whatever, articles, or you have to keep following developments because usually interns are not trusted with this work. So I don't know about other internships, but I couldn't do a lot of mergers and acquisitions work when I was an intern. It was just basic research work that I had to do. But then the scope of corporate law, I believe, is really wide, but that doesn't mean that you just have to confine yourself to corporate law no matter what your interest is. I strongly believe that when you're interested in something and you put a lot of effort into it and you have that clarity that this is what I want to do, you'll be successful in any area of law. So I do believe that people say, corporate law is lucrative, it has a lot of scope, but that's not entirely true. You have to put in your blood and sweat to get into some very good law firm and work on really good cases. So, yeah.
That's true. We go through our internships and we really, really have to work hard to get over there. Over to you, Ms. Apoorva. Any reflection about the fashion law, about this is your expertise? Over to you.
When we were in the R&D stage, when we were researching about fashion law per se, I personally realized that there's a huge gap. I mean, the fashion students who are in NIFT and NID, the premium institutes, esteemed institutes for fashion, even they are not taught anything about law. they don't know how to protect their designs. They don't know how to build their fashion brand. They don't know what are the compliances involved, what are the legal aspects involved in the fashion industry. And I'm going to tell you, fashion law is the IPR part of fashion law is literally just 20% of it. Other than that, there are multiple facets to it that people don't know. And it was so sad when I was talking to students in NIFT and when I was talking to fashion designers in Delhi NCR. And I visited a lot of boutiques in Shahpur Jat, the independent fashion designers and everyone. They didn't know that there's something known as, copyright or trademark. They didn't know that there are compliances involved wherein you have to build, when you have to build your fashion brand. They didn't know that there are compliances wherein if you have to have a boutique, if you want a boutique, there are some laws that you need to have behind opening the boutique. And most of the people, they just go ahead and they trust the lawyer. Okay, and when I spoke to the lawyer, the eminent personalities in the field of fashion law, if I say, in India, they are all about IPR. And I was like, this is not the case. This is not how fashion law works. I mean, yes, of course, IPR is an important aspect, but that comes later on. That comes a lot in the forward when you already have a boutique, when you already have a fashion house, and when you have already become a fashion designer. After that, when you produce your design and when you start selling it, that's when the IPR comes into the role. And it was just like, people don't know about this, and this is a new field. Not a lot of work has been done in this field in India specifically. And there are a lot of things regarding supply chain management, or regarding formation of the fashion house, regarding the designs and everything, and what to do, what are the remedies behind all anything if that goes wrong. There's not a lot of work done. So I think my interest in this field developed when I realized that work has not been done, and this is something new. And fashion being fashion, yeah, I mean, it's interesting. You look at the dresses, you look at the models, and since I started working on this field, I have attended so many fashion shows, you know Delhi Times ke fashion shows and Times of India ke fashion shows and everything. And all of that was so interesting. And I realized that this is such a big industry. And the loophole is so huge that the scope of work over here is unimaginable in the coming years. As of now, people don't know much about fashion law, and we are trying to bridge that. But in the coming years, when people start, when they are woke, when they have the awareness about something known as fashion law, the scope is tremendous. So yeah, you're on mute.
Amazing. I think that is one area which a lot of us misses on it, because of course fashion law, like a lot of people miss on the part that you actually have to look law. Like I came across a news where a very famous designer, their prints are getting copied in some local market, and all of these things happen around. So interesting. So Miss Vennela, it must have been really, really tough for you to, manage with your so many publications, your internships, academics, and then preparing for your interviews, preparing for your placement rounds, preparing like everything all together, like be it extracurriculars, be it academics, be it all through, building a very nice, good CV to put across. So, what are your views about the same? Like,
Yeah, I kind of put my priorities straight. I always had it planned. Like initially, I'll start with my publications. I'll focus only on publications while I do publications, and then I went on to other issues. Like I started doing very hectic internships. So I did everything. I did things one at a time. I don't prefer clubbing a lot of things, and because it becomes very chaotic. So since I started building my CV, eventually I think that's one point that worked in my favor, because when you do a lot of things together, nothing really works out. At least in my case, it was like that. When you talk about extracurricular activities, see, the COVID situation kind of helped us in a while. I mean, in a manner, because it's very difficult to be at different places when you have to go there physically, right? So since it was virtual, things got very easy. So the publications, every publication helped me grow. As I said, legal design was my stepping stone. So the first publication that I had was from legal design. Before that, I never knew, I never even imagined that I'd publish something, because I still remember when we had our first assignment of tort law. I was all over the place. I started opening Google, I started opening these iPleaders and all of that, legal desire as well. Where can I just take information from? So I was very, very, underconfident, and I didn't know I could do that. But, Apoorva and Anuj really supported me. And when I first published an article, I was like, okay, I can actually do this. So it was quite an achievement for me when I had my own article published on a site where I used to visit so that I can take some content. So I think from there my confidence really boosted up, and I started like going forward, and I started publishing in other platforms as well, on other platforms. And when I first got Legal Writers Award, that's when I thought, okay, there's something about my work. So that's how I slowly evolved, and I did one thing at a time. And with my internships, the most challenging part was internships, because you must be knowing, because I'm sure you've done a lot of internships. That is like, that kills you. Like it's blood sucking. It's literally blood sucking, because not internship at Legal Desire. I'm talking about the other internships, because you don't know anything about law firms. And if you don't go to their office physically, it's just virtual. You don't know anything. You don't have access to a lot of things. You have no idea how to work, and you get yelled at by your seniors, and you can't even say anything, because it's not like college that your professor yells at you and then you turn to your friend and you'll be like, what the hell? And then go back to your room and then just gossip about it. It's difficult. It's very difficult. Internships have been very challenging for me, but I've learned a lot from my internships. Whatever I've learned, that was from internships and my publications. So my suggestion to all the law students would be is that take your internships very seriously. No matter how you take seriously you take your classes, take your internships very seriously, because that's where you actually learn things. In what you learn in classroom is like, it is definitely important, because that's what you have to write in your exams. But practical knowledge is very important. Yeah.
I'm sure, like, I completely agree and I can relate. Like, we are still struggling and internships are really, really hard.
It's like finding fish in the sea. It's like there's fish in the sea, there's fish in the sea, but you can't catch it. You can see fish, like literally see, but you can't catch it. That's how internships are. I still remember, I can't forget the trauma of, sending respected ma'am, sir, this and this is my CV. Looking forward to hearing from you. So many emails, and then so many we regret to inform you emails. So yeah, I think that's something that every law student would definitely relate to.
I completely agree. So, at sometimes you very rightly pointed out that, we receive those emails that, we regret to inform you that you cannot get an internship in our law firm. So, like, how do you deal with this? Because there are so many of us at one point of time we have received, and I think we'll keep receiving those kind of mails. So, how do you deal with it? Like, it is a question to both of you. Like, someone really wants it. All of us wants a top tier law firm, but somehow it doesn't happen at that point of time. So what do you have to say about it? Like, how do you keep up with your confidence? How do you move ahead? So what are your views about that? Let's start with Ms. Vennela.
So it was definitely disheartening initially, but I think I understood. I came to terms with it that this is how it's going to happen. I probably like approximately got 25 to 30 we regret to inform you emails before I got this email from Khaitan saying, we are pleased to inform you. So it's a very difficult thing to, there's nothing like you get used to it. You never get used to, receiving we regret to inform you emails. So I started building my CV stronger. I try to understand that why is it that I'm being rejected. So, and it's even more frustrating when firms don't get back to you.
True.
Yes.
That's very frustrating. They don't even get back to you. You send them your video, introductory video, and then you send them your CV, a nicely drafted cover letter, and all of that. You never. In fact, I heard back from this one law firm that I applied for an internship at. I received the confirmation last week when I joined the law firm as a lawyer. So it's very disheartening to receive a lot of, we regret to inform you, but I'd like to tell all the law students who are watching this session that it's not your fault. That's how a lot of law firms are. And it's just that keep working on yourself. Just don't get stuck to the thing that, I'm not getting it. Am I good enough? Because that's what I thought. And I clearly now believe that I was always good enough. I just had to locate the right places and take a proper approach.
That's a fair advice. That's how I think we all should be working. That's completely fair. Over to you, Ms. Apoorva.
I think my strategy towards finding a place to work, internship or whatever, has been very different from the very beginning. I mean, when I was preparing for CLAT, I appeared for CLAT with a mindset that I don't want an NLU. My idea was I want to go to a place wherein I have my space to manage the things that I want to. I don't want to be all about study, study, study. And I don't want to compete with the people who are hell-bent on just getting a 10-pointer, which is like an impossible thing. But their idea is that I want to get a 10-pointer and I want to excel in this. Whereas my idea was always, I want to be in the council. I want to have leadership opportunities. I want to go for dance competitions. I want to go for moot courts. At the same time, if I get a 7.58 CGPA, I am happy with it. My idea was always that. So as Vennela said that she likes to focus on one thing at a time, I have always been a person wherein my academics was a secondary thing. Like for me, 75 to 80% was very good because I wanted to focus on the overall development, on the points wherein I have the opportunities to do whatever I want to, and I want to dance, I want to do debates, I want to go to MUNs, I want to go to moot courts, I want to have leadership opportunities in college, etc. So this is how I entered Bennett. And when it came to internships, again, I did not want to be in big law firms at all. I never approached CAM. I never approached Khaitan. I never approached big trilegal firm kind of firms. I was like, I want to go to a small place wherein I have responsibilities and whatever I do makes a change. I never wanted that my boss or my senior gives me that, Apoorva, you need to draft this, and then your work ends there. There's no scope for brainstorming. There's no scope for your ideas. There's no scope for you trying to build something or make a change or anything like that. So I always went behind startups. So if you look at my CV, the only big firm that I have on my CV, big company, is Times of India. That is it. Apart from that, I have only worked with startups. I recently worked with a startup called Pedal Start that was like an incubator for other startups. Then I have been working with Legal Desire. I was always focused on a small place, small team, and wherein I have responsibilities and I can work hard. So I guess I never really sent out 20, 30 emails. I never did that. My idea was always, to find a small place, to contact them personally and to build a relationship with them. So I guess I will not relate to getting an email or rejection. The rejection that I have had is over the calls that, Apoorva, this is very fascinating. This is interesting what you're bringing to the table, but we're not looking for another team member right now. So I have had that kind of conversations over the call or over the Zoom meetings. So that was also disheartening. I mean, yes, I agree with Vennela. This rejection is not always easy. It is difficult. But my ideas were different. So I was like, that is fine. There are multiple startups coming in. There are a lot of small places who are looking for a helping hand. So at some point, I was like, I have time on my hand, in my hands. So I started working with a few startups that came from Bennett Hatchery. So I worked with the people who were in Bennett Hatchery, and so Vinod Shastri sir told me that, these are the companies, these are the startups who are looking for someone like you, so you should go ahead. So I've done these kind of things more.
I mean, that's amazing. Vinod sir has been laying down the foundation of hatchery since very long time, and it's still going really, really well. So could you reflect, could you tell us more about how you find a legal angle in the startups, or how do you manage to fit in there? Like, what was your view about it?
So every company, every business, everything that you come up with has a legal angle to it. You need contracts, you need compliances, you need to draft things, you need to have a legal entity, because every company, we learn this in law school, that every company is a legal entity, right? So legal angle is always there. But I would say my challenge is that I want to work on something that is related to law, but I don't want to sit and draft contracts. I'm very picky when it comes to this. So I mean, I have rejected a few companies, like they were offering me pure law work that you have to draft and this. I'm like, no, I'm not interested in this. I'll sit at home, I'll work from home, I'll do freelancing, but this is not something I'm gonna do. So my challenge was always that I have to find something which is related to law, but I'm working on marketing. So this sometimes becomes difficult. There are a few founders who understand this, but there are a few founders who are like, the departments are demarcated, legal ye hai, marketing ye hai. So kahin pe, at a few places I was not comfortable because the tuning did not set with the founder. But at a few places I was like, I can help you with the legal stuff, because when you're working in a startup, it's like whatever you can do, you should do. There's no hardly there are any demarcated fields like, this is the dedicated person for law, this is the dedicated person for marketing. It's usually like jo tum kar sakte ho tum karo. So I have helped people, helped the founders with the legal aspects of it. Like, I would draft the contract sometimes, or I could, research the compliances that are involved in particular venture that you're trying to get into. But my work was mostly to market the things or to manage the things inside and outside. So finding that sweet spot between law and marketing gets difficult. But yeah, in the meantime, like in a month, you get settled in, you get comfortable, and you start integrating your ideas with their ideas, and it just fits.
I mean, that's amazing. Legal marketing is something I'm also looking into it, and it's really, really great. So, Miss Vennela, according to you, what are the basic qualities or basic, requirements or hardships that every law student should have? Regardless of your moot court competitions, your extracurriculars, your everything. These are certain basic qualities that before you step into a firm, before you step out to any place, you need to have those things that you should be thorough with it. Can you tell us about that?
The first skill, or whatever you call it, is patience. That is something that you should definitely have, because it's very important. It's very important to have patience. To you have to wait for the right opportunity. Even after you get that opportunity, you have to be patient enough to you have to be patient enough till you let in a lot of knowledge for you to get adjusted with the environment. So one is patience, and then the other one is you have to be very strong, because hardships are on your way. So you have to be strong. You can't break down. See, breakdowns, I mean, I'm sure you'll break down, but it's very important for you to pick yourself up together, and you have to go forward, because after a point you won't have anybody else to pat your shoulder and say it's okay, you can do it. Life's not like what it is in law school, that you'll have a mentor and you'll have your friends with you who'll obviously be going through the same thing, that you got 10 marks on 25, your friend gets 11 marks and you're like, it's okay, 1 mark difference. So that's not how life is once you step out of law school. So you have to have patience, and you have to trust yourself. You have to believe in yourself, because nobody else will believe in you if you don't believe in yourself. And you have to be open. You have to be like a sponge. You have to like absorb everything as much as you can, because there's a lot of knowledge out there. So you have to absorb it. And one thing I'd like to tell everybody is that sleep while you can. Sleep while you can, like seriously, because at times you won't have time to sleep at all. So whenever you have time to sleep, and then don't lose yourself in this process. I strictly I advise people not to, rant about being workaholics. That's not how life has to be, dealt with. Give yourself some time, take care of your health, and then involve yourself in other activities as well, because it's a crazy world out there. Once you step into it, you really have to like hold yourself up. You can't lose yourself to this world of just it's very chaotic. When I first got into this law firm, I was so overwhelmed. I was like, I should just work. I can't just focus on anything else. I have to work. It was crazy. I was just all over the place. So I think you'll have to learn to balance things. And before anything, just have clarity about what you want to do. Don't just think that, as Apoorva said, you have to have clarity about what you want to do. Don't just think I want to be successful. Just think about where you want to be successful and how you want to be successful. It's not that I want to go to this one law firm because it's a tier 1 law firm. That's not how it works. Even with Khaitan, I was happy I got into Khaitan, not because it's a tier 1 law firm, because this is one of the very few law firms which actually works on white collar crimes, and they have their expertise in a lot of new fields like sports law, and the kind of work culture they have is impeccable. So it's not the only reason of Khaitan being a top tier law firm that I just went into it. And as Apoorva said, I also wanted to point this thing out, that academics was never the first preference for me. I mean, my first semester, I just wished that I clear all the subjects. From the second semester, I think I was really obsessed with marks. But I'd like to I think I have to say this. I realized that marks are not important when during the interview, both in Khaitan and Trilegal, we got our results. I mean, the CGPA. I don't want to rant about it here, so I won't mention it. So I was so eager to tell them. I was waiting for them to ask me, what is your GPA, so that I can tell them. They didn't care. They didn't give a damn about my GPA. So I only told them in both the interviews. So I got my results and this is my GPA. In Trilegal, the partner said, we don't care about your academics. We care about your knowledge. We don't care about numbers. And even in Khaitan, there were like many congratulations, but they said knowledge is very important. Practical knowledge is important, because marks are like, you can get marks any which ways, because it's all about your memory, right? You memorize things and then you put them on paper and you score well. But when it comes to this practical world, you should be very thorough with your knowledge and then with the concepts. They asked me things that I never imagined that I'd be asked. So a lot of like questions that made no sense at all. But yeah, so that such things you'll only learn from your internships, and take your moot memorials very seriously, because they really help you further. And I'm sure they grill you a lot in moot court competitions. I couldn't attend a lot of them, but they're like, after what happened to me in the moot memorial, I was like, I'm not doing moot again, like never again. So yeah, you don't take your marks very seriously. I'm not saying you should just flunk in all the subjects. What I'm trying to say is that have a decent score, like 75 to 80%, but don't obsess over it. I did that mistake of, sending emails to professors asking, why did I not get 0.5 more? Please give me your feedback. I wrote everything, but I still didn't get marks. This person got more marks, but I wrote everything. So I did all of that. And now I realize that it makes no sense at all, because after a point, nobody's going to ask you for your marks. Even now, you're just asking us about our experiences, about our knowledge. You didn't start off by asking Apoorva, what was your GPA? Vennela, what's your GPA? You didn't ask that, right? So once you step out of your law school, nothing really matters. Your certificates are just qualifying papers. So don't go very hard on yourself.
Agreed. I mean, that's an advice what like we all need it right now, and so grateful that you shared this. So, Miss Apoorva, how did you, balance out your extracurricular? Like, being the president of the student council is one of the most prestigious achievement. And I'm pretty sure you have mentioned a couple of times that you loved doing that. You loved taking leadership roles. So, recalling back the time, like what was your favorite experience? How did it go? What did you expect out of the tenure? Did you get that? And how was it?
Okay, so the one sad thing that happened to me was that I became president in COVID. So my entire tenure went on online, you know, and I had a huge team. I mean, I had six vice presidents and another team under them. And overall, it was like around 150 people. Okay, so I think my biggest achievement would have been managing all of that and handling the sudden shift from offline to online, because I was the first person to be the president in COVID. Okay, so COVID first wave, I was there, and to handle everything from offline to offline, and that shift should have was supposed to be smooth. And my biggest achievement was that I made sure it was smooth. I made sure that the entire council is on their toes and they are working hard to have everything online. So we had the fest, we had blue moon, we had different things. We Each club had their activities. Every vice president was working towards building their team and everything. So it was difficult. Managing those 150 people online was difficult. And since it was online, I couldn't even look up to the past president, because even they were not sure how to manage all of this. So I had to do everything on my own. I remember like the times when the COVID wave subsided and things started opening up a little. I used to go to college, sit with Manisha ma'am, sit with Vinod sir, and Sameer sir, and everyone, the entire DSA department, like these are the things, how to do it. And when the freshers came in, organizing their orientation weeks, sitting with the law school professors to manage the law school orientation, sitting with the DSA to manage the overall university orientation and everything. And it had been a tough ride, to be very honest. It was not easy, but it was so much fun. It was like, yeah, I did this. I mean, that accomplishment at the end of the year, it was beautiful. And Shivani, I cannot tell you, the day you sent me that forwarded message by Jacob sir, it was like that moment was like, yeah, this is what I had been living for. This is what I wanted to do. So Vanilla, to tell you, I mean, Shivani was sharing her achievement of the vice presidentship with Jacob sir. And Jacob sir sent her a text that Apoorva from 2017 batch should be inspiration enough. And Shivani forwarded that to me. Like after 2 years, like, a week or two back, now Jacob sir said this. And that particular moment, I had forgotten that, I was the president, I did this, I did that. But the moment I read that message forwarded by Jacob sir, I was like, oh my God, this is the day that I lived for. This is the kind of acknowledgement and appreciation is what I was looking for, the entire time. And it was just amazing. So the entire hardship, the entire difficulty period of COVID and managing everything online, it was worth it. I just wish that I would have done all of this in person in college. Then I had a lot of plans for Bennett, and one of them was building a student council charter, drafting the student council charter, and I did that. And it has been approved and everything. But yeah, it was amazing.
Amazing. I mean, we all look up to you. It's just very beautiful. I'm pretty sure you had a very beautiful journey. I worked under you in one of the core teams. It was great. It was great. So moving to the last. Sorry.
Something about Apoorva being the president. While she was the president, I think that was the first time that we shared a subject. I mean, we had the common subject. So I was like, oh God, who is this girl? The first conversation that we had, the first, debate kind of a thing that we had, I was like, I hate her.
I mean, I give out that vibe. I mean, a lot of people have told me this, that the first interaction with you, you always seem so,
Intimidating.
pardon my language, bitchy.
Yeah.
And you seem so arrogant. And then we get to know you, and you're like, oh, this is this bubbly little girl. I'm
And
like, yeah, I like to manage those two personalities, wherein my work front is different. Like, I'm hands-on and strict and everything. I mean, Vennela worked with me in Legal Desire, and she knows that when I take meetings with the interns, my facial expressions are different.
I used to call her,
Sorry?
Sorry.
I call her Junior Prachi.
Don't, Vanilla.
Shivani is like, oh my God, what have I gotten myself into?
Yeah, I enjoy managing those two personalities that way.
Yeah, that's really nice. After, like, later on, she texted me, she messaged me saying something. I was like, okay, she's not bad. And then we started like doing such crazy things together that people actually thought we like gone cases. So that's where that's how we started like our crazy friendship. I can't really, disclose a lot of information on what all we did. So that's something I can tell you after this session.
Looking
I
forward.
hope you remember what we did, Apoorva.
That's great. I mean, so it's just so amazing to hear such amazing stories from you. Talking about your journeys, your favorite faculty, everything. It's just so wholesome. So let's begin with our little rapid fire round, which
Okay.
revolves around Bennett University and your journey, of course. And this is the last segment of our session. So I have some questions planned for you both. So I think one by one you both can answer the same.
Shivani, know something we don't? Just the rapid.
I cannot hear you.
Do we get a hamper?
Very soon. Very
Vanessa has been preparing this for a very long time.
soon. That's wonderful.
Yeah, since class 10.
No, I'm going to give you my very own personalized hamper when we meet very soon.
Yeah, I was just kidding. Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So let's do this. I'll ask the question first, Miss Apoorva, then Miss Vennela. Okay. So starting with my first question, who was your favorite faculty in the School of Law?
I would say Garima ma'am, Professor Garima Tiwari. She has been very dear to me.
Miss Vennela?
There are quite a few. Like one is Arpan sir. I mean, I really like Arpan sir and Garima ma'am, of course, Swarnim ma'am, and recently like Saurabh sir, Arushi ma'am. I'm like pretty close to like all these professors because we had very limited interaction with a lot of professors. While we interacted, there are very few professors that I really like for obvious reasons. But I really liked Sridhar sir as well. He's not with Bennett now, but he was the dean when I first joined Bennett. And there was a point that I wanted to leave college. I was almost on the verge of leaving. So he was the one who said, don't just give up, don't quit. So, yeah.
That's great. That's great. Next question. 3 things which you absolutely love about the campus life at Bennett University, Apoorva.
In the first year, we had a curfew time of 2 a.m. And then you guys came in and it became 11 o'clock. But that was something I used to love because, at 2 in the night, we're sitting in the mess and we're just chit-chatting. And the cafes used to be open. Shankar Bhaiya and everyone, they used to be open. So we used to just sit and eat. That is one thing I loved. The other thing was the enthusiasm for every event. I mean, every second week we used to have some event or the other. Some club is organizing something and there's a DJ night. I mean, at some point we had to beg the DSA that please allow us DJ night because they were like, हर 2 हफ्ते में तुम लोग क्या DJ night लगा लेते हो? What is this? This is not an event. You're not supposed. This is just a bahana to have a dance party. So the events was amazing. The enthusiasm to have those events was amazing. And the third thing I would say, the kind of bonding and interactions, the family sort of interactions that we have had with the professors in law school. I mean, there was this one particular professor who left before all of you came. That was Vikas sir, Dr. Vikas Katwaria. He left in my second year, I guess. But he was just so amazing. And at that point of time, we had Dr. Vivekanandan sir as our dean. And the bonding, the family kind of bonding we had with all of them, it was just beautiful. We used to exchange presents in the name of secret Santas. And I mean, this is a very funny story. I'm killing your rapid fire, but I remember we were in first year and no one knew that Bhumika ma'am and Jacob sir are together. Okay, no one knew that, and this was our first semester. And one night we had our midterms, and we were all studying, and suddenly, one of our batchmates, Sheetal, she was just scrolling Facebook and she saw a post wherein Jacob sir and Bhumika ma'am are getting married. Okay, like it was the photo of that particular morning. And we were all sitting and studying. We were like, we were scared for the coming exam the next morning. And it's like 10 or 11 in the night. And Sheetal sends this screenshot on the group. And everyone is like, oh my God, Jacob sir and Bhumika ma'am are married. This, that. Everyone forgot about the exam. The next morning, Ambika ma'am, the program coordinator, she's handing us the question papers, and everyone is looking at me like Apoorva will ask, and I just look up to Ambika ma'am and I'm like, are Jacob sir and Bhumika ma'am married? She looked at the other professor in the room, she smiled, she nodded her head, and she gave out the question paper. And then we had a small cake. We got an ice cream cake for Jacob sir and Bhumika ma'am, and we celebrated their marriage in the classroom. So this was the kind of bond we have with the professor. So this is like just beautiful.
This is just so beautiful. Like, I'm going to Jacob sir tomorrow. I'm just going to ask all about it. That is amazing.
Yeah, had such cake cutting sessions in class. We only had traumatic situations of papers being distributed.
Over to you, Miss Bennett. 3 things which you love about campus life.
One is the Maggie Point. Definitely the Maggie Point, because we used to like stay there till late in the night, play music and all of that. And I love the law library for some reason. It's just such a relaxing place and a great place to take pictures. That's definitely there. Yeah.
When the law library was made, it was just our batch and the next batch. Okay. The law library was in process of being made. तो वो आधी बनी थी, आधी अभी भी construct हो रही थी, and at that time it was just our batch. So that place, I mean, we defied the definition of library. Okay, that was our hangout spot. That was because it was open for everyone at that point of time. So we are friends from different schools as well. We used to just sit there and hang out because it was so peaceful and it was just your space. वहाँ पे कोई और आता नहीं था. It was just us. It was so amazing. And then the library was made and it became a library. But it was an amazing hangout spot for us.
And then we came in.
Yeah.
That road from the gate to the hostel, I really love it. So many memories there. When we were in Bennett, I used to hate the campus. I was like, my God, I'll have to go all the way to the gate, like pick up the food parcels and all. But now I'm like, we made a lot of memories there. As I'm talking about it, I'm starting to realize that we made so many memories in 1 semester, 1.5 semester there. The B block hostel, B block or A block? The hostel, yeah. We used to play. I mean, we actually used to scare people, like switching off the lights in the washrooms and then all of that. A lot of memories.
Wonderful. I mean, it's great to hear such stories from you both. So what was your go-to spot at Bennett when you missed home, when you needed, I'm missing home. I'm missing that vibe. I'm missing that closure. So over to you, Apoorva.
To be very honest, I mean, this is a bad thing to say, but while I was in Bennett, my home is 40 kilometers away from Bennett.
Oh.
So, I used to be busy, so I did not visit home often, but I had the liberty to visit whenever I wanted. So for me, the homesickness never came in. And I always wanted to live independently in a hostel. That was like my dream since I entered teenage. So I was very happy to be in the hostel. But in the times when I used to be low and not very okay, and when the times were difficult, I think after 5 o'clock, the academic block is for the students. Once the entire college day ends, that is 5 or 6, the professors go and everything. And in the starting, when it was just 2, 3 batches in college, the GDs group discussion rooms, they used to be open for everyone. There was no lock, there was no permission needed. So at that point of time, like during the evenings, the academic block used to be so peaceful that you can just walk up to any room, you can sit wherever you want to, and there will be no disturbance. So that was the spot that I really liked. The first floor GD rooms. Those were the rooms that I felt like, yeah, this is my space when things are not okay.
I'm sitting in a GD room right now. My space. Over to you, Miss Vennela.
Whenever I used to miss home a lot. I was constantly homesick because we were a batch of 12 students, and it was like a big boss house with nobody allowed anybody. So I used to miss home a lot. And since it was a very small batch, we actually didn't have any interaction with other batches as well, because ours was the first batch. No juniors, no seniors. So my I just used to go to my room, and then I used to call my parents, and after disconnecting the call, I'd just cry for an hour and then wipe my tears, go back to the Maggie spot, have Maggie, and then have double masala Maggie, have cold coffee, and then go back to my room. So yeah, that way Bennett is like, it gives you that warm feeling that there's always a spot for you to go and sit. In fact, after every class, I mean, after classes, my friend and I, fortunately, we were best friends also. We were roommates. So we used to think, now that classes are over, today we're not going back to our room. We're going to the swimming pool. We're sitting there. We're going to the football court. And then we're going to this Quench. Quench, we had pasta and all in Quench, right? The basketball, the indoor basketball thing and also. And then we used to walk out and be like, you know what, let's go tomorrow. Today we're a little tired, no? Let's go to the room. Let's go tomorrow. We were so lazy to even go to the mess. I mean, given the mess food, it's not even worth the effort to walk up to the mess. I hope they're giving you good food now.
No, now I feel it's worse. Like I went to Bennett 2, 3 months back, and I went during lunchtime. So just to look at it, I was like, no. So Dexo was bad, but it was better than this.
Yeah, we used to survive on patties and momos. Seriously, patty, momo, because the food was so bad. It was just potato. Potato is the staple food of Bennett.
After one point, we started doing this, that we don't want to eat mess food, but we don't have money. We can't keep calling mom ke paise bhej do. So what we used to do was, little that we had, we used to order sabji from outside, anything from outside, and save mess ki rotis or mess ke chawal. We started doing this.
But you stayed in H block, no? So that was possible. You guys had a kitchen. We stayed in C block. We didn't even have place to put our beds properly.
Yeah, we too had an entire apartment set out in H block. It wasn't allowed, obviously, but the best part was that we did not have guards on every floor. And fortunately, my floor did not have a guard. So we had an entire kitchen set up with all the masalas, घर के सारे मसाले, और पोहा रखा है, सूजी रखी है, मैदा रखा है, सब कुछ है.
We weren't even allowed to have kettles.
My kettle is still, it was confiscated and still with Rachel ma'am. She left, but my kettle is still there.
My kettle was also confiscated, but then they gave it back to me because I said, sorry, I didn't know all of this. I prepared Maggie in that kettle.
Shivani is getting anxious ki jaldi.
No. I'm actually very surprised that you both are having such conversations so casually about all of it. I'm okay. I can understand. I'm hearing.
Are we not supposed to? Okay, I'll keep my mouth shut now.
No, nothing like that. But the food is really good now. I'm being very honest. I'm a foodie, but it is really good now. Trust me.
I think, Shivani, we should have another closed session, not on such public platform, but a closed session about hacks for Bennett. I mean, I have a lot of them.
Sure. We'll have it definitely. So there are two situations. I have planned it for you. It's kind of a riddle. You have to guess what time of the year is at Bennett. So okay, starting with Miss Vennela. So the riddle starts with refreshing faces and one glamorous night with lots of dance, food, and one title to win for. Can you guess what situation or what event we are referring to?
Blue Moon.
Right.
Blue Moon happened after a month. Like we stepped in, and then after a month it happened. I still remember Blue Moon because we just finished our internals, so that was like one nirvana for us.
I'm sure you would have enjoyed. I mean, I also had the Blue Moon that same year, 2019, and it was great. Miss Apoorva, it is a little tricky. Let's see if you can guess. So, October blues, but not late to put on some dancing shoes. Yet another night to lose, scary enough to make you move. Can you guess what it is?
It's either Navratri nights or Halloween. It has to be one of them.
Halloween.
Because it's the scary thing. I think it feels more towards Halloween.
Right. It's Halloween indeed. I think that's the point where the dance club of the university puts a show. It's one.
Yeah.
So lastly, a question to both of you that the most important advice which you would pass down to us, to all the viewers, to all the juniors, what will it be like to the entire journey? That one thing or one advice we all should keep up wherever we go, wherever we grow, wherever, how are we moving ahead in our law school journey, coming semesters, everything. That one important advice that we should not forget.
I'm going to give you two. Because this has been my learning in these 5 years. And I really hope that it came to me earlier, but it did not. One is, don't take everything so seriously. If you have gotten 2 marks less in criminal law, it is okay. If you did not clear your trial round in moot court, it is okay. Because the 5 years or the 3 years, it will give you ample of opportunities. You cannot imagine the number of opportunities you will have. So don't get stuck on one particular thing where you did not do as per your expectations. The one thing you should focus on is keep finding more opportunities and take the initiative. Go to the professor and tell him or her that I want to do this. No one is going to come to you and tell you, Shivani, you can do this. No one is going to do that to you ever. So pick up your notes, pick up your research, go to the professor and tell him or her that, this is happening in the month of September. I want to do this. Tell me what is the way. How do I get the permission? Number one. This is something that came a little late to me, but I used to get stuck on a lot of things that, I did not get this or did not get that. But then by the end of third year, I was like, okay, there's a lot to do in life and in law school. So it is fine. I'll do something else. Okay. And one thing that I have been practicing since my childhood is time management. And the value of time management, I have पहले तो करती थी because my parents were like, you need to manage your time. But I was always a busy person from school. I had like a lot of extracurricular activities and everything. So I had to do it. But when I came to law school, I realized that you need to balance everything. If you're not good at time management, things will be problematic for you. If you don't manage that, I at one point I was like, I have this 15 minutes gap in between my classes. So instead of going downstairs and getting myself a coffee, I'm going to ask Saurabh to get me a coffee, and I'm going to sit and prepare for the meeting that I have to take at 8 o'clock in the night. At one point it became like that for me, because there was no time in the day. And when you are in law school and when you are into a lot of things apart from academics, you have to manage your time. Even 10 minutes is important. So every person who enters law school should learn how to manage their times. Then only you will be able to keep your mind straight, or else you'll keep wallowing, you will be under a lot of stress, you will be chaotic, and you'll mess everything up.
Agreed. That's really important. We all are struggling with it, but hopefully we consider this. Over to you, Miss Vennela.
I have a couple of suggestions. I'll keep it short. So the first thing is that do not compare your journey with someone else's journey. It's not mandatory that you have to get into legal desire, you have to get into Khaitan, you have to get into paralegal. Nothing like that. Also, what worked out for Apoorva would may not work out for me. What works out for me may not work out for Shivani. So everybody's journey is very personal, and just work on yourself. Please don't go hard on yourself, and relax while you can, have fun while you can. Don't I'm telling you again and again, don't obsess over marks. They're not going to matter. Just focus on, focus on yourself and believe in yourself. That's very important. And I'd really like to focus on this one thing, that it's very important for you to manage stress management is very important, because it'll eat you up inside. So manage your stress, and don't let anybody's unsolicited opinion get into your head. If you feel this is not going to work on me, then just forget it. If you think, okay, I want to do my LLM, so marks are very important for me, then work towards the same. I'm telling you, because from my perspective, I never wanted to go abroad and do LLM, so marks were never important for me. But you choose your journey wise and then act accordingly. You don't have to like blindly follow someone else's suggestion. I'm sitting here and suggesting because I've obviously achieved something. But if I was on the other side and someone was giving me suggestions, I wouldn't just blindly follow them. I'd obviously compare and see, would these suggestions match with my requirements? Is it what something that I want to do? So don't just follow every suggestion that you hear. It's very personal to everybody's journey. And yeah, have fun while you can.
And also, when you are in college, you are bound to make mistakes. I mean,
Yes.
it is okay if you flunk. It is okay if you have had a bad breakup. It is okay if you did, something bad. It's fine. Mistakes are bound to happen. And if you're not making any mistakes, if you're not, doing anything different, it just means that you're blindly following the other person, as Vennela said. And that is going to lead you to not exploring yourself and being clueless at the age of 25 when you're working in a company. So it is very important to do everything and anything that you want to do. You make mistakes, you do some good things, you do some bad things, but at least in while you're in college, you're in a safe space. And here you can make mistakes. You can afford to do that, because at the end of the day it will be okay. So जितनी गलतियां करनी है, जितनी बकवास करनी है, वो कॉलेज में कर लो यार. Don't think about it, just do it.
You can't afford to make mistakes once you get into the legal profession. It's not as easy as going to the professor's cabin and be like, sorry, we did that, we'll never repeat it again.
Yeah, that cannot happen in jobs.
And bunk classes while you can, because you really can't do it in office. You can't. And try to maintain 75% attendance, because I could never do that. I always used to go to please give me just one class attendance, just one.
Yeah, I have done that too. Hey, class ke de do, I will not get debarred. I'm fine with 51% of attendance.
One class attendance, or I'd just go and I'd be like, just give me attendance, please. I forgot to like mention it in the notebook. I mean, my class notes, I actually attended the class, but I don't have any proof that I attended.
At one point, the professors and my batch students, there was this one semester wherein like more than 60% of the class was getting debarred in one particular subject. I don't know how that happened, but it was a management subject, and we were like more than 60% of the people were supposed to get debarred. And the professors who were close to us were sitting with us and giving us loopholes that, the biometric system has just started and it is not working properly. So find some loophole. We used to sit like we used to check the attendance record on biometrics for 2 months and find one loophole where it's written absent, but somehow you can prove that you were present in the class by notes or by photograph or whatever. We have presented class selfies as evidence that we were in this class at that particular time. That's how we have saved ourselves from getting debarred.
Attendance is still a struggle. Like, we all try to attend the classes, and morning classes are really, really tough. Like, you need to wake up. Yeah, you need to wake up to be there.
Our problem was like by the second year end and third year starting, our problem was who's gonna walk from H block till A block at 8 in the morning just so we can attend a class that we are not even interested in. It used to be a struggle to get up, get ready, and especially in winters. In winters, it was like taking that long walk from H block. It was trouble.
Yeah, also two horrific things that I hate about Bennett, not about Bennett. One is biometric, the other is Turnitin. These are two things I absolutely hate. I never want to like even come across them, even for once in my life ahead. Yeah, also I'd like to mention one more thing that at least this has been my own learning. Things that you think are very unnecessary can prove out to be very useful. For example, there were two stations where one was internship viva. I was like, I used to curse the university saying, I didn't do an internship with them. Who are they to judge me, judge my knowledge? But the internship viva helped me so much because I had to prepare again. Like I had to look back and then what all I did during my internship and all of that. The same questions were asked in the interviews. And I still remember how Prachi ma'am used to teach us like in a very complex manner. I was like, why is she teaching such a complex manner here to there, here to there? But all that really helped me out because when you don't learn something in the conventional way, it really helps you. When we had our Viva in property law and contract law, it was so traumatic for me because even when I closed my eyes, I just used to see Prachi ma'am asking me questions. So I remember this one day before the Viva that I just read the entire Bear Act, property law, the entire Bear Act. I still couldn't score well, but that's another issue. But it really helped me out. Contracts and property law, I had to read everything. So things that make no sense while you're actually doing it proved to be very, very useful. So there are some professors who were like very, very strict, but it really helped me out further. Like you must be knowing the professors who like strictest in college. Like you look at them and you get scared.
Totally. I can relate this. So, I mean, that's wonderful. Like, you both shared this out, and I actually noticed that I'm missing on a couple of things which you both actually suggested, and I think I should have implemented this a little prior, but of course I'm going to implement now. But yeah, I mean, that's great. So with this note, I think we have reached to our closing regards. So I really, appreciate all the effort that, it is both done by both of you for the development of our law school. And a big thank you for justifying the years, you both spent in this institution. I mean, we all look up to you. I truly, truly do it. And yeah, a big thank you. Anything you'd like to say?
For organizing this and then, coordinating with us and then, taking all our tantrums, convincing us and all of that. It's a great job and you're actually you're doing a complete job. I'm sure you're an inspiration to a lot other juniors. I hope you achieve a lot more ahead in your law school journey and after your law school journey as well. I'm hoping to see you in Khaitan.
Me too. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shivani. This has been wonderful, and I can still go on and on about Bennett because this conversation has opened doors to the entire 5 years of law school, which have been amazing. And I've had great times with you personally. I mean, in law school and in Verve, dancing together and everything. So thank you for doing this. This has been wonderful, and wishing you a very good luck I hope to see you in a lot of places, achieving a lot of things ahead, and marking your territory in Bennett, in your law school, that Shivani did this and Shivani was this. Hoping to
Truly
see.
means a lot. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thanks, Vennela.
Thank you.
Bye, Apoorva. Bye, Shivani.
Bye, bye, bye.
Bye.
We can just leave, right?
Yes.
We'll just leave. Are you gonna end? Okay.
Yes.
Bye.
Okay. Okay. Bye, guys. Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.